What we're going to be doing today is showing you guys how a pro, a VGC professional player, builds their team for something like a global challenge, which is a best of 3 closed team sheet event that you can earn official championship points for the World Championship circuit. We're going to be building this the week before the GC. The GC is happening the weekend of like the 27th or 28th, so we're on the 24th. We're going to be building up a team from scratch, and the first thing you need to do, if you're someone who wants to build a team for this tournament, is you need to see like recent tournament results, see like what sort of teams people are running, and then pick a mon or a restricted that is good into what recently did well. These are the results from the recent EUIC, so we can see that Koraidon won using Wolfglick using Koraidon won the tournament. Then we have a couple of Miraidons, an Ice Rider, a Kyogre, and then like a Shadow Rider to round it out. So what people are going to be realistically doing for the GC, which is a best of 1 closed team sheet tournament. Did I say best of 1? Did I say best of 3? It's best of 1, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's best of 1. What people are going to be doing is they're basically going to be taking teams from the recent tournaments and trying to put their own spin on them, or just using what works just to get points. So like I would not be surprised if like, you know, 10 to 15% of your games are just against Wolfglick's team that won EUIC, because that's normally how people go. They normally tend to copy teams. So you need to be familiar with what just did well, because people are going to be taking aspects of those cores to this tournament. So we need to think of a restricted that is good into all of these cores. And there is one restricted that I actually think has a good matchup or better against all of these, and that is going to be Shadow Rider. I think Shadow Rider has a good matchup into Koraidon if you play it correctly. I think Shadow Rider has an amazing matchup into Miraidon if you play it correctly. It's probably one of its better matchups. Shadow Rider can be good into Ice Rider if you, again, play it correctly. I think Shadow Rider also has a little bit more tools in close team sheet versus Ice Rider than Ice Rider would have versus Shadow Rider. Against Kyogre, that's a little bit of a skill matchup, but you definitely have the skills to beat Kyogre. The more aggressive the Kyogre player plays, like having a really aggressive item or double dipping a Water Terra, the more chances a Shadow Rider player has to bully them out. I would say like the AV, like Wo-Chien, Kyogres are probably more of a problem because they tend to fill that with a lot of dark types and stuff like that, but like aggressive Mystic Water Ogres, you should be great with Shadow Rider into. And then last but not least, Shadow Rider Mirror, you can definitely add some spicy tech for the Shadow Rider Mirror as well. So that being said, since these are what we're going to be expecting, what we're going to be doing is building a team from scratch that checks those. We already talked about using Shadow Rider. Right, so Shadow Rider right here. So the first thing I want to do is I take a lot of notes. And so the thing I like to write down is write down like step 1, review recent, sorry, I have like a weird writing situation right here, tours / pick restricted. Bad handwriting, sorry about that. So first thing we did was we're going to pick Shadow Rider, and we're going to try and build the team around Shadow Rider because we think Shadow Rider has a good matchup against a lot of those other things. You can say, that's how do you just know to use Shadow Rider? That's just your experience talking. That's not giving us actual info. You could go back and look at that same post that I just went to right here. I took this from Nimbasa City Post, I think. That just shows what top got the tournament. There are obviously other mons that have good matchups into this. I think Lunala has good matchups into this stuff. I think stuff like Terapagos doesn't have a great matchup here. I think Kyogre was a really good call for the tournament from Gavin Michaels. So like you could still go with all of those mons. I think Shadow Rider is an easier way to do this, and I think Shadow Rider is a mon that's going to perform a lot better in a closed team sheet situation than something like those Kyogres and you know, Lunalas and stuff like that. Just because like people are already teching for Shadow Rider, and you know, you don't want to use Lunala into that sort of stuff. So I think Shadow Rider is a good idea. But then what other sort of stuff do we want to actually be adding to supplement the Shadow Rider, to actually give it the tech that we need to succeed in a closed team sheet best of 1 situation? That's where it gets a little bit dicey. So you're probably thinking, all right, if we're going to use Shadow Rider, the next step is find out what your restricted is weak against, or weak to. That's the next step. The next step is actually like writing down what you think they're weak against. So Shadow Rider is going to have problems with things like Farigiraf, like Ursaluna, like Incineroar. Right? These are Pokemon who use their defensive typing to wall the Shadow Rider back. Shadow Rider is also going to have problems with like things like Shenpao in some situations. These are going to be mons that are going to slow us down. Other mons that get like Wide Guard are going to be problematic. Let's just throw, let's see, what gets Wide Guard? What's a good wide guard mon? A Pelipper would kind of slow us down a little bit, like a Sash Pelipper. Right? So let's just write down. So for this team, that's Farigiraf, Ursa, Incin. We got Shempow and Pelipper. Lunala matches well. I'd say Lunala is it's worth noting, but by checking a lot of these things, we will also be able to check Lunala if we do the right things correctly. Right? Garg isn't popular enough, I think, to get checked in these situations. So that's just something that works for Shadow Rider. It's going to be different for all the sort of teams. So now that you know the mons that check your mons, it's up to you to start adding things that remove these mons' ability to check you. And the good thing for us is that a lot of these mons, the reason that they check you is their defensive typing. It's not their speed tier. It's not their damage. It's their defensive tools. So if we can add things like, for example, like the third step here, add tech to, press the word button, add tech to remove what lets, my pen just ran out of ink. Gaming, dude, holy moly. There we go. Add tech to remove what lets them check you. Holy moly, I have such good handwriting. Straight up, I'm so good. I'm gonna apologize. I'm writing, like, if you can't tell, I'm actually sitting like a 1.5 feet back, so I'm like writing like really, really far away, but I apologize. The third thing is to add tech that lets us stop what lets them beat us, right? So we're lucky that it's not speed control. We're lucky that it's not base speed tiers. We're lucky that it's not the fact that we have to go second every matchup. If we can just add things that basically KO these mons or remove their ability to stop us, we can have a really good matchup. And I actually think there's one cool little bit of things we can do here. And that's going to use this. I think that Soak with Shadow Rider. If we have a mon that has Soak, what we can do is come in and go for Soak. And Soak, remember, is going to change them into a water type. So the fact that they have Farigiraf with normal typing, Ursaluna with normal typing, Incineroar with normal typing, we can come in Soak, make them a water type, and just blow them the heck up with an Astral Barrage. That's going to be my tech for removing these threats from my Shadow Rider from this tournament. That's the idea. That's what we're looking for here. And you may be thinking like, oh, that's kind of tech, but like, doesn't Tatsu have to go in the dozo? There's a bunch of other things we can still add. But realistically, if we go back to checking at our notes, if we were to Soak a Farigiraf, check. Soak an Ursaluna, check. Soak Incineroar, check. Shempow. Does Soak beat Shempow? No. Does Dozo beat Shempow? Check. But when Astro go first, you gotta wait for the rest of the team building here. Because then the next step number 4, is adding the right tools and the mons to help us get this off. Does soaking a Pelipper work? No. Does hitting a Pelipper with a Psychic work? Like, so I don't have to lock in Astral? Yes, check. So, if we do a little bit of the tech here, this will remove a lot of the big checks from our team and give ourselves options to leverage the fact that Shadow Rider out-advantages a lot of the other restricteds that were originally up here. So we're right back to Shadow Rider checking a lot of these main restricteds once we add checks for the 1 or 2 mons on every single team that we give Shadow Rider problems. Right? So that's how it works. Alright. Let's go back over here. Can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't wait, you're impatient. I guess this is the wrong game for you because Pokemon is a game of patience. It's not a game of impulsivity. So, now that we have Shadow Rider and Tatsugiri, we're going to start adding other mons that kind of help us fulfill these goals. We know that we wanted to add the Dozo here to help us beat the Shenpao here. Now, do we know that we want to run Commander? Do we want to run Storm Drain? Do we want to run Unaware, Oblivious? We don't know yet. We just know that we need to add these mons that will help us succeed in the matchups where we're fallen a little bit behind. Now, let's start thinking of other things that Shadow Rider still needs to function as a mon that checks these restricteds right here. Now, I talked about Shadow Rider having a good matchup in a Miraidon, and I think the reason why you're able to do that is because Miraidon historically is one of those mons that has a lot of single target damage. Yes, they can sometimes come packed with like Snarls or D-Gleams, but those are very uncommon Sorry, I'm not going to say they're uncommon, but they can't KO the Shadow Rider if you have the right partner. So we need to start adding something like a Clefairy to this team. I think adding a Clefairy here is a very, very good mon to add. Right, and then we have 2 more slots, right? And I actually think a mon that helps us leverage advantage against Miraidon, against a lot of these other mons that can be a little bit problematic, like Koraidon in some situations. Because, like, if you can disable the Koraidon's Sun, it doesn't get to boost the photosynthesis and the flutter, which means it doesn't check your Shadow Rider. And yes, they can go normal terror, but you can punish that with other stuff. I think if we were to add something like a Weezing here, we would be able to have a better pivot for dark coverage right there, but disable like Whimsicots, disable just a bunch of the cheese that comes with playing in a global challenge. And then the last mon here that I like to add is Pawmot, because we are still sashless as far as I can tell. And then this will help us cover up for Terapagos, which I don't think there was a Terapagos in top 8, but there was a Terapagos in top 16. That's a pretty bad match for Shadow Rider. Having like one mon that can come in and just do a big fighting attack versus anything that pops the normal Terra, because remember, you cannot soak against things that Terastalize. Would be pretty nice. Getting access to Fake Out is nice. Getting access to Revival Blessing so you can use your Shadow Rider twice is very nice. So this is a very, very standard looking Shadow Rider team that forces your opponent into respecting a bunch of different options. Number 4 here was our step, like fleshing out the rest of the team. Remaining members. And I'm just clicking everything over here. All right. Yeah, I have like no room to like type all this stuff out. All right, so yeah, we're adding the remaining members to flesh out the team, and then now we're gonna go into like actually, you know, doing EVs, moves, Terra, and these don't have to be perfect. We have a whole week before the tournament, but they just need to get the idea out on paper. So the first thing that I like to do when doing stuff like this is write down just a couple moves that we know we want these Pokemon to have. I'm probably going to add Shadow Ball here, because remember, that's one of our checks to beat the Pelipper, is to have single target options. Let me make this back as big as it was over here. We want to probably also add some sort of like other coverage, but we can leave it blank for now. We know that Tatsu wants Soak. We can leave the rest alone for now. We know that Dozo needs to be able to check Shenpao. I'm going to add probably Body Press, because I know that's going to be able to one-shot the Shenpao, or at least do a lot of damage, force those Ghost Terrors, which means we can hit with Shadow Rider now. Clefairy's going to need that Follow Me. And then we don't know exactly what else we want. We're probably going to want After You to help solidify up the Trick Room matchup. All right, and let's add the next thing on the Weezing. I'm probably going to want Protect on my Weezing, just because I can get away with it. I'm also going to want Taunt here, so we don't lose to like just Frigraphs using Trick Room. We can just taunt them in the face, it's fine. And then Pawmot, we're going to want Revival Blessing. We don't know if we want Fake Out yet. We don't know if we want Protect. We know that we do want Close Combat, though. Cool. And then what I like to do is, after going through a run of just adding a couple moves here to each of these mons, I go back and just start adding more. I think that we're probably going to want something like a Psyshock. I like Psyshock over Psychic, just because it lets you hit on the physical side, which is good against mons that are vested. It's better against Terapagos as well. And then I'm going to add Pollen Puff. You can tell where I'm going. I'm probably going to be making this into a choice spec set. This guy, let's start adding a couple moves, because I will tell you guys right now, this thing's going to be Choice Scarfed to outspeed my Shadow Rider, and then from there, enable us to go for the Soak first. So we're going to be adding Choice Scarf options. That's going to be Muddy Water. That's going to be Icy Wind, right? So those are what we're going to want. I think that Draco is another solid option here. It'd be nice to add a Terra Blast Ghost to be able to check Flutter, or Terra Blast Steel, or Fighting, to be able to check Flutters if they Terastalize, but I don't know if we have the room. Dozo. We're probably going to be using more of a support Dozo in this one. So we're going to add Body Press. We got to Protect. We're going to come back to Dozo at the end of the rest of the mons. We're going to add Protect here to elongate its presence of Friend Guard, which we're going to be using on this mon as well. And then as for like the last slot, I think that Helping Hand is the right option. Here we go, and we're going to add over here. I like Dazzling Gleam over the Strange Team. That's just my personal opinion. I like this a lot. And then we're going to add Sludge Bomb. This helps check Rillaboom. This helps check a lot of other things. I like these two coverage moves a lot. This guy, I'm going to add Fake Out over the Protect on this one. Normally I like to run the Protect, but I think the Fake Out's going to be more valuable with the Shadow Rider. And then I'm going to add Double Shock here. All right. Hold on just one sec. All right. So at this point, we have most of our moves solidified, and we can start fleshing out like the rest of the team. We can start going into this Tatsugiri and this Dozo. I think that I'm actually going to be running a Storm Drain Tatsu. They're going to expect us to go lock in like Dozo Tatsu, and that's never going to be the case. This is a Storm Drain Tatsu to increase that matchup versus Kyogre, which we talked about being a little bit of a skill matchup. This can just check it, like we automatically win. And then this gives our Dozo the ability to run stuff like Yawn, Body Press, and Surf. I like this a lot. I think there's a lot of cool stuff going on over here. So we can check a lot of cool stuff with this Dozo set, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. Clefairy, we have the moveset done, moveset done, moveset done. So those are all of our moves. Let's start adding some items. We're going to have leftovers here. Rocky Helmet's another solid option. Eviolite over here. Weezing, I'm going to make this a Life Orb set because that's how I like to run my Weezings. And then I'm going to make this Sashed. So now that we have all of our moves, all of our abilities are going to be set correctly. Friend Guard, Unaware, Storm Drain as one. Volt Absorb is the correct ability here. Now I can start finally looking at my Eevees. Now the biggest thing to look at here is the fact that Scarf Tatsugiri does not outspeed Shadow Rider, right? So what we're going to need to do is find out how fast Tatsugiri gets. Find out how fast Tatsugiri gets with a Scarf. And then underspeed that with our Shadow Rider. So Tatsugiri gets to 220 if it's full speed with a Scarf. Right? So that goes up to 220, which means Shadow Rider has to underspeed that by 1. But Shadow Rider still needs to go... we can't get away with Modest, right? Because we do still need to outspeed stuff like Miraidons and Koraidons, right? So what we actually need to do is pull this over. We just change it right here. It's fine. Miraidon. So we still need to outspeed Miraidon, but we can't outspeed our Tatsugiri, right? So that means a Miraidon looks like 405 at level 100 set it to level 50. We need to get to 206, and I think you could like speed creep that a little bit. Maybe like 207, I think, is the bump on Shadow Rider. So we still need to be timid in this situation. But you see, we're going to take a lot of this out. It's either 207 or 209 right there. That's the bump. It's a couple extra points to outspeed it, but I'm super fine with that. And then from there, you can honestly go like this. Just full special attack, and then throw most of your points into like various defensive stats. Yeah, I don't use any of those sort of things like that. I tend to look at my own speed tiers myself, do like notes and stuff like that. But anyone can use those sort of things if they want. Realistically, I think this is fine. Remember, your EVs don't need to be perfect when you're just building your team, when you're just testing. It's best to like actually do something that's wrong here, play a bunch of games, and be like, actually, I need a little bit more speed. I didn't know that I got outsped by like Choice Scarf, like, you know, weird other mon that's not normal, right? Like for example, let's just run a calc here. Let's see, what's a weird mon that could be scarfed that would like outspeed our Shadow Rider from here? We're sorting this by speed. We're looking like Yan Mega, maybe it's 95. We might want to outspeed a Yan Mega. Lando, let's see how much we need to outspeed Lando I Adamant. Annihilate. Yeah, I think Lando's outspeeds it by 1. So I mean, it's worth still outspeeding the Lando, I think. Let's see what Adamant Lando looks like. So Adamant Lando with the +1 gets a 214. That's Dragapult, right? It might actually be worth it to outspeed Dragapult. So let's see what happens if we take this up to 215 and outspeed Landorus and Pult. We actually can, right? There, that's 215. Cool, that works. That outspeeds Lando, that outspeeds Pult, that outspeeds Adamant Annihilate. I'm sold, you know? So yeah, I think this is probably the set I'm going to go with. I'd rather put my extra points into my defense here. You don't always need to like find the perfect spot to do this. Normally, you want to put those extra points in your HP, but if your HP is higher than some of your respective defenses, you don't need to put a ton of points in HP. You're fine putting them in the respective lowest defense stat, which is its actual defense stat. So it works for me on the Shadow Rider here. I also like to save my Terrors for last. We'll do that one in just a sec. Now that we know that Shadow Rider still outspeeds this Tatsu, we can just get away with something like a 244, 444. Remember, we're cutting up that last 8 that would be from 244 to 252 into 2 sets of 4 because they're worth more points in each respective set since the first 4 points matter. So realistically, you could do, I've always said this, I'll say it again for everyone that's new to this. You could just do this. This is the standard spread, though. If you click the button, it's going to give you something like that. But if you cut up that last 8 into 2 sets of 4, Since the first 4 points matter more when doing your EVs, you're going to get a 1 extra point each of your respective defenses, which means you're just getting an extra point. Your Tatsu has more value than some other ones, so it's pretty good. Let's do this Dozo set. With this Dozo, I actually think I want to be speed reduced, like 0 speed, like slow as heck, to be able to underspeed like Callies and other stuff like that, so I can actually get my Yawns up if I need to. I don't mind having the slowest fat guy in the world. We don't need to put a ton of points in HP because Dozo gets massive diminishing returns. I think that we want more defense than Spadef, but it's kind of hard to say. Dozo is a little bit... this is probably going to be the hardest Pokemon to EV train on the whole team. We don't know what Terra we're going to go yet. What is the role of Dozo? I think that's like another thing. Like we're trying to beat Shenpao and like Zamazenta with this thing. That's like the main thing this mon is for. I think it's the main matchup we're going to be bringing into. Maybe Ice Rider. So like if that's the case, we would probably just find where we would get best leftovers optimization, which is dividing it by 16 to make sure you're not like over EV training for leftovers. So I'm going to pull up a calculator on my phone right now. If I type in calculator in Google right here, since I do Showdown so much, it always goes to the calculator on Showdown, but I'm plugging up on my phone here. So let's see, Dozo, I'm thinking it's going to be like about here. Probably like this. I'm actually going to try that 240. So what you do is you divide 248 divided by 16, and it's not even close. It's probably in the middle. So I really undershot it, so maybe like this. Getting closer. Yeah, that's a lot. I don't want to do that much. I'd rather go over here. So 244. Yeah, 240 divided by 16. 240. Awesome. So it's 240, which is that number right here. So like that's fine. If we want to put like a lot of our points, we're going to put our nature up here. And we could think about putting points for special attack because we have Surf as our main damage. But like I don't mind doing something like this. I want to find where the bump is. The bump is something that combines your nature with like the extra points that you're getting. Let's just do this right here. Right. Let's just look for it. Right there. So that's the bump right there. And then you could honestly just do something like that if you wanted. I see no problem with this for now. Why did I do it like that again? Why did I do what like this? So yeah, when you're trying to optimize your leftovers, if you divide your total number of HP by 16, it makes it so you're restoring the correct amount with leftovers. You basically get an extra point off your leftovers every single time if you do it that way. And so it's just a little bit of a better way to do it. And again, if this set doesn't work, I'll go back and I'll change it. Like it doesn't have to be perfect right off the rip. It just has to work. Clefairy is a pretty easy one. I'm very comfortable with this spread right here. I like to put about 60 points here, and I like to go 196. I think this might be the bump on my Clefairy. Again, Clefairy is also a speed reduced to 0 speed. The fact that it's speed tying Dozo is not something I like, so maybe I'll put like 2 points in my Dozo, 3 points in my Dozo, 4 points in my Dozo. There we go. So Clefairy will always underspeed Dozo if that needs to happen. Leftovers recovery always rounds down, so you get the same recovery whether they have 240 HP as you do with 255. There you go. Why run the Fairy Wheezing over the OG? Just the extra typing? Yeah, so we need a Dark Resist. I think that's it. I just want the Dark Resist. I kind of just put this one in here, but I also want the Stab on the Fairy because like it lets us hit Dark types. So like Shenpao is a mon that's going to be a problem. These two are pretty good into Pow. So that's basically it. But yeah, it's the Fairy typing that we wouldn't have had before. It makes them like it gives us better options to make so Clefairies than our only pivot in on Miraidons. But yeah, this set right here, I think this might be the bump. Yep, it's the bump. And so again, you see it goes from 119 to 121, which is 8 points. It's just extra points in doing that. Wheezing. Wheezing can be built a little bit weird. So I like to build my Wheezings pretty quick. I'm talking like pretty quick. Like, my Wheezing is actually just here to deal damage and then leave. And then it takes, like, Life Orb damage, and that's fine. Like, I want my Wheezing to outspeed everything, and I really like that it gets, like, 123 here. You only need to get the 112, but remember, we're pairing it with potential Icy Wind on this Tatsu. So Tatsu can come in, Icy Wind something, break it, like... So this outspeeds Pow, can Icy Wind break, and then Life Orb D-Gleam can break the Pow in one hit. Like, easy peasy, like, lemon squeezy. It's, like, so good. I think it's gonna be really, really good. I might want to actually double dip Fairy in this situation and make sure that we can break Pow. Let's run that calc right now. All right, so we got Wheezing Galar with 252 Dazzling Gleam versus Shenpao. Now you can't see the right hand side, but it's okay. All right, so set it to doubles, and then if we double dip Fairy, yep, that should KO after Tatsu stat drop. Cool. So the Icy Wind plus this Dazzling Gleam, we'll let's just pop their Shenpao on the first turn. So that's worth keeping around. So yeah, I think that's great. And then Palmot. Palmot's pretty easy because it's sashed. It doesn't need to go crazy. You can just click the button. Having over 100 base speed is actually really good on this guy. Lets it actually check both Urshes. Lets it check a bunch of other weird stuff. Being able to have coverage of double shock and close combat is just really, really solid on this team. Have mostly on Zama team, so Terra Fairy's heavily slam risk. That's the... Alright, so the thing is, though, if I'm already at heavy slam risk, but they can just heavy slam me if they want, but like they have to make the read to do that, and they have to be disrespectful of Tatsu. So another thing that could happen here is if I open up Tatsu Wheezing, Tatsu's going to outspeed the Zenta and make it so I can go for the Icy Wind to drop the Zenta, which means if I just cheese their POW and then I lose my Wheezing and then I bring up my Calyrex, I just win the game. So that's like step like 6, 7, or 8, which is like setting up the flowcharts, but it's not about living, it's about trading, right? Right, so it's not about outliving everything. It's about trading and being like cost effective and capitalizing on the speed control that you get for teams like this. Hopefully that makes sense. So we got most of the Mon's EVs done. The last thing that I like to do here is go make my Terras what I think they need to be. I'm going to test with Ghost. Even though I think that normal is better, I'm going to test with Ghost for now. This guy, it can test with a few different things. Ghost is correct though, because we need to be able to avoid Fake Out. Dozo's going to try to be Grass for this. Clefairy's going to be Ground for the Miraidon matchup. Weezing's at Fairy double dip, and this one is also Fairy here, because we can just check Miraidon pretty hard. It forces them into D-Gleam, and that's pretty nice. So that is all of our EVs. How do we get all the way over to water? Let's go back to Fairy. That's all of our EVs done for this one. Sorry, one sec. Shadow Rare teams tend to be pretty aggressive, which leads itself to trade-centric playstyle versus Balancer Bulk. Also, THATSA likes that type of playstyle in general. I do. Yeah, and I think that like Ghost is going to be really nice. I think Normal, I tested with Normal at NEIC, and I like Normal. It's good into the mirror. The fact that we're running a slower Shadow Rider might mean we just lose the other Shadow Rider, but I think the fact that we have a little bit of points in bulk, we might be able to even put some of those 44 into, like, straight into Spadef and pair it with, like, the Friend Guard and just soak an Astral and reply back and win. That could definitely be an option. So, that being said, I think the team is worth testing right now. So, let's just test some games. Step 5. Incin. Palmot. Regieleki. Eternatus. And Goldango. Now let's try to think like what sort of sets are going to be common here. That looks like it's going to be Goggles and Sin. Because you don't have that many pivots other than Goldango. Maybe it's Citrus, but I doubt. Alright, we have Annihilate. I think that's probably Scarfape. We know that we outspeed Adamant Scarfape. But yeah, I think we're fine if we just leave Clef into that. Palmot's probably Sashed. Leki's probably Cloak. Eternatus is probably Meteor Beam, so Power Herb. I think Goldango could either be Citrus or Choice. Alright, so that being said, I think a lot of these get folded by that. And if that's how we're going to fold it, we're going to do those two. We don't need to bring Weezing to turn off like speed control abilities. We can just bring the Tatsu and the Palmot. And what I really like about this team is that Tatsu's just like a good Scarfmon. It's a good lead for us. So let's see what happens. We're going to be able to go, well, we could do Protect. We could Follow Me. They could go Fake Out Pop here. I don't particularly care if that's what they want to do. It doesn't really bother me that much. I'm going to click the Follow Me, and I'm going to double dip Ghost Astral. If you'd like to click Fake Out into my Clef, you can. They did not. Absolutely dump trucked. There's Darkest Wary at Lamau. So I'm just writing down the turns. So I write down Helping Hand Astral plus Terra versus their side. They led in Sin, Ape, and then Eternatus comes out here. So it might have been Adam and Ape that we actually outsped. So Ape got KO'd. I write a 1. I write KO for what happened last turn. I write Darkest Lariat for this turn. In turn 2, I'm going to do the exact same thing because I don't need to get dicey because that could go normal Terra. Right now you could think, oh, you could just follow, you can just helping hand. Don't need to do that. Follow me. I'm going to play around the fact they could have normal Terra. So we clicked follow me. Alright, they die. Double KO. Alright, KO when they don't get a chance to make a move. 2, 3, last mon's Pawmot. So Pawmot, I'm not really that afraid of. We're still going to click the follow me here. And just Astral, if you'd like to have something weird, you can. But dump trucked. Easy peasy. Awesome. So first game, very, very, very easy to win. Let's do a better job of taking notes this time. Alright, Kyogre with Volbeat. Very cool. Kyogre. Volbeat. Gallade. Is that Incin Milotic? Now I could lead Weezing and stop the Kyogre from even having the rain up. I don't think I need to do that. I think I can probably get away with Clef Shadow Rider. And the reason I like to lead Clef Shadow Rider and Incin is just because, like, they can fake out the Clef, but then they don't have any other mons that, like, pin the Shadow Rider. They can't knock off and fake out at the same time. So it makes, like, Clef's just a really, really good mon there. So if I lead Clef Shadow Rider into Weezing, I should be in a really good spot, and then Pawmot. So we still have 60 seconds, so let's just write everything down. So we know we're going to go Clef, Shadow Rider, and then we have Weeze, Pawmot. And the Weezing is there to be able to pivot in on the... to turn off the Volbeat, who I think, let's write down some of these items. That looks, it could be AV Ogre, but I'm thinking it's going to be some sort of Mystic Water. I think Volbeat's Cloak. I don't think it's Sash. It could be Sash, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Gallade is a bit of a weird one. Incin's Goggles, I think. Because you need a pivot for Spore. Melodic, I'm actually assuming Adrenaline Orb on this team. Dragonite could be weird. Maybe Choice. Let's just lock in our Pawmot right here. Dragonite could also be like AV or some sort of weird special set. Awesome. So they could try Trick Room. They get Wide Guard. They get a bunch of different stuff. I don't particularly care what they want to do here. And we don't need to waste our Terra. Let's just pivot in the Weezing, turn them off here. Gallade doesn't usually have good coverage right here. So if you're Wide Guarding and Tailwinding, I don't really care. Like, I'll just switch up my Shadow Rider. It'll suck, but it's not the end of the world, you know? Yep, and that's fine. They probably tried to do something with the Volbeat. The Volbeat doesn't even die. It's very bulky. Wow. So it's going to be Tailwind, right? Tailwind, and that's fine. I think that's fine. You're going to come in with your Ogre, who does not start the rain, which means I don't think we need to actually, like, pivot in our Clef to... Oh, it's Incin. Huh. Incin is a choice that you made. Pivot in there, get my Friend Guard, double dip, Astral, pop it. So we got Gallade, Volbeat, Incin, Fake Out. Oh, that doesn't work. They thought I was going to do a defensive Terra. Yeah, I'm not letting you baton pass that, homie. Cool. That's fine. We already got this one done too. And at this point, you can send in the Kyogre, but like I think I just win by follow me Astral. Kyogre shouldn't be able to Oko Clef since it's you see we have 181 points here. We're really, really bulky on the spit up side, and Kyogre's gonna be fashioned in Incin. So I don't think I die even from Spout, but we'll see. I died. Okay. Fine with me. Good play. Well, there's the Citrus Incin. Damn, dude, that guy's cooking. All right, last turn Tailwind. We can fake out the Incin and Sludge Bomb. No, we protect here and fake out Incin. The fabled protect fake out. The stuff of legend. It looks not. I don't think it's carved. I think it's Mystic Watered. Yep. So now all we got to do is just Revival Blessing. So we can just click like anything here really. Like I think it's fine. Dazzling Gleam is good. I'm just gonna go Revive. I think I can get away with the Double Shock there though. I'm gonna try the Double Shock. Oh yeah. You gonna learn something? Yo, we gonna learn today, bro. That's right, he's Void Blitzing, right? Yeah, because you saw the game ended. Cool. Got a little bit dicer than I wanted, but you know, we forced them into revealing that they were Mystic Water Ogre, else that wouldn't have had any value. How did they let you hit Terrakion? There's a lot of beat up mons. I mean, there's a lot of justified mons. I would have just got something else instead. All right, let's go to another page of notes. We are 2-0 in our testing. Thank you for the follow. Holy moly, appreciate it. yeah, if you guys like this content, we're gonna start doing more stuff like this. I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff to learn from like taking correct notes, and it's just this is what it takes to like play the game. You know, this is just what it takes. All right, Shadow Rider Mirror. So we're probably gonna lose this one because it's our first time going against Shadow Rider. So Shadow Rider Bundle. Shadow Rider Bundle Wheezing. Grim. Ogre. Indeed. Alright, here we go. So this is going to be an L, but I think that like we're going to be able to learn a lot about what we want to do with our team here. The first thing that I'm going to try, I'm thinking about leading Dozo. Maybe we make this normal. Just let me try this. I'm going to try the Clef Shadow Rider here, because I want to see how much damage they have, and if they take Life Orb. I want to see like if we can actually just eat that Astral. So those are good. I doubt they're going to bring the Wheezing in. This doesn't outspeed. This has Sash, so it can be good. I don't think I need to turn off any of their abilities, but like, let's try the Wheezing. I think this is an L. And we're actually searching for L's, because we want to see about why things are working. There's Wheezing. So Wheezing is turning off our Clefairy's Friend Guard right now, which is very surprising that they're going Wheezing. I guess they're trying to stop me from going Dozo. So we can write up here, be afraid of Wheezing. See, now we understand that we're forcing that Wheezing here because they're over afraid of Dozo. So that being said, we're going to get outsped here. I don't think there's that much we can really do about it. I'm just going to rock the Helping Hand. I'm going to try and force a misplay from them, because we are very behind. They're Fairy Terra, they're faster. If they go for the wrong move, we are fine. But I do think that we die here. So there's a few different things that we could do differently. Obviously, they had all the right tech. We are absolutely fine taking our L's here. There's not that much we can do about it. We're just going to drop the Scoop here. And we need to think like, okay, do we need to drastically rechange our team here? I think that Shadow Rider Wheezing is common enough that we might want to. I don't think we need to have Ghost Terra. So let's go back and let's try this with normal. If we get the same matchup, like it really depends on what we really want to do with this Shadow Rider. And so I think that having normal is good. I have no problem with that. Cool. Miraidon. So Miraidon is one of those mons that I really do like having the specs like Ghost Terra double dip for, but I don't know if it's required. So let's just try this. This is going to be a really good one to test with that Tatsu. So Miraidon. Miraidon Treads. Ursh. Incin. Farigiraf. And Hands. I think this is the team that got second at EUIC with that banded Treads. So we're going to try Tatsu. We're going to try Kali. Just to be able to over-respect there, because we can always pivot in the Wheezing to turn off their other stuff. So that's the third one. And then I'm going to bring the Palmot instead of the Clef. They have a lot of single target damage. It might be nice, but Palmot's just really good into Miraidon. Alright, so we got Shadow Rider, Tatsu. And let's see what they got. And hopefully you guys are liking this sort of content. Hopefully you guys are learning stuff. Hopefully you guys are having a good time. I think there's a lot to be said, like showing your losses and showing like what you're learning from your losses and why that's important. And then making small changes to try your best and not lose that same way again. I think it's the biggest thing that you can learn from competitive Pokemon is not making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Throwing a bunch of different stuff at the wall and seeing what fits, but then like trying your best to change how that stuff works. There's a Farigiraf. Oh my gosh, we're going to do it. We're doing it. We're gaming, boys. And remember, oh, it's Urshi Dark. Was it Urshi Dark on that team? I could have swore I thought it was Urshi Water, too. That's why I thought we were so good here. So we're going to have to Normal Terra here, which I don't particularly like. But let's just see what happens. Is that supposed to be Urshi Dark on that team? Oh, okay, so all right, so they made changes to it. All right, because if that was Urshi Water, do you see how ahead we'd be? Do you see, like, how ahead we'd be with Storm Drain Tatsu there? So, like, I don't even have a problem taking L of this, because that's like a hybrid optimization, where they're trying to basically cheese us into over-respecting one, and then they go with the other one. But let's just see what happens here. I don't even know if we break that thing, but let's find out. Let's go gaming. Soak, busted, gaming. Here we go. Boom! Don't get the KO, and that's okay. It's absolutely fine. There's the Trick Room. All right, so can we stop this? We cannot. We take the L. So in game 2, if we were to play this, so in future matchups here, we would just lead Wheezing. Versus like that thing, because that would stop, the Wheezing variant stops them, and we can just taunt. We can just taunt straight away. So yeah, I think it's good. I think that like being able to make those changes is good. So we're noticing that we can go, normal, Shadow Rider, and we just lead Wheeze into second place EUIC. Perfect. Golem Guard, Shadow Rider, Oranguru, Regieleki, and Sin. So I think that we can lead Shadow Rider. But the thing is, it's like, what do we want to pair the Shadow Rider with? I think Golem gets Wide Guard, so I'm going to be respectful. I think this is good. I think Tatsu could outspeed some of those, but it's not really required. It's only good for popping Oranguru, which we can just Pollen Puff an Oranguru. So like, I think Calyrex is good. I think Calyrex Clef is probably fine, and if you do get that TR up, I don't particularly care. Those are good. I'm trying to think if I need Wheezing in this matchup. I'm going to bring the Wheezing. Am I going to bring Wheezing? I'll bring Wheezing. Alright. Clef Shadow Rider versus Oranguru. Alright, so that's a bit of a weird matchup, right? So like, what are you doing here? Are you clicking the Astral Barrage button? Like, do I care? I feel like you cannot at all let them click the good move, which is Trick Room here. We know that they outspeed, and that's completely fine. Dump truck, bro. They tried to TR. Alright. They get to bring out something that pins, but they don't have a fake out on anything but Incin, and you can bring out the Incin, and I'll just pivot. Cool, Golem. I don't particularly care about Golem. Show me the Protect. Protect, pop off, do it. It's absolutely fine with me. You're gonna lose a Mom for it too, and I just bring out the, what is that? I bring out Pawmot and just stagger. Let's see it. They're thinking. Here we go. Psychic. Yep, that's a good play. Pop it off. Oof, Sash. Nice. And then Ironhead. Cool. That is absolutely acceptable. Let's think about how we want to do this. I think Pawmot's fine. I wonder how much damage that does. I feel like... I mean, I could honestly just go Fake Out there, and Pollen Puff there is a good play too. Yeah, I like that. I don't think it's Cloaked Golem. It could be. It could definitely be. I was trying to play around Cloak, but like, I feel like they probably aren't using that set. And so we're going to get our Sash clocked, and that's fine. Trade off the Shadow Rider. We're at +2. Now Pollen Puff just goes into there. This is going to be one of those games where Pollen Puff just kind of carries it. And now that both their mons are slower, so like if we wanted to revive, we could. So I think in this case scenario, you're actually better off clicking the revive to get your Clef back. Because like what they're going to do is like telepathy here, they're going to pop off and explode, and then you just come in with your Clef, and then you like, after you Sludge Bomb, just kill the guard. That means the right play is hit this one. Yep, doesn't get the KO, but that's fine. There's the explosion, just like we said. Bolt Absorb kind of busted. So we actually... Oh, wait, why did I... Oh, yeah! Wait, why did I die? Do we not have Volt Absorb? What the fuck? Why did I die? I'm, like, confused. Wait, why did I die? Hello? Is there a reason I didn't... Oh, you forgot! He forgot Galvanize! Oh my gosh, yo, he got me. Almost got me. Dude, that's nuts. It's actually, hold on. They didn't Terra. There we go. Yeah, they forgot Galvanize. Hey, but we still outplayed him. We did. We got him. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. I didn't even trick him. Why did I have to go for that after play anyways? Doesn't matter. That's funny though. That's super funny. I was just like, wait, what? Alright. Okay. A few more games with this. Alright. Let's do a good note take. Here we go. Koraidon. That's almost Wolf 6. Very, very similar almost. So Koraidon. Incin, Ursh, Wake, Flutter, Bolt. Let's go AV. It could be Sash Ursh, it could be Scarf Ursh on this team. I think it's gonna be Sash Urshy Dark. Incin's gonna be Goggles. Wake is gonna be Orb. I think this is Clear Amulet. And then I think the Flutter, it could still be Booster, but it could be Specs. Alright, and if we see Sash Flutter, it means that there's probably Scarf on their Ursh. Alright, so that means what do we want to do against this board? Shadow Rider has a good matchup here. I think Shadow Rider, Clef is fine, because it lets us just outvalue the Ursh and the Incin. They have to lead Ursh and Incin for there to be problems. Weezing's going to be required to turn off all these Photosynthesis guys. And then I'm just going to bring my Palmot, who is my Fake Out / Recovery Mon. So we're going to go Clef. Alright. And they're going to be, remember, they're going to be like outvaluing Dozo. They're bringing things to check Dozo. So Incin, Koraidon. Now, the way that I like this matchup is you're allowed to protect with a Koraidon and throw a knockoff in there, because if I protect the Clef, if I redirect the Clef, Incin takes a little bit of damage, and the next turn you can just pop. So there's nothing wrong with protect knockoff here. That being said, I don't think they're going to do it. And we're going to live the knockoff there anyways. There's the Fake Out. Oh, the read! What a read! Oh my god. Hey, what an absolute Chad gamer. Whoa. Alright, that is actually so sick. I'm so proud of you. Cool, good stuff. That's really cool. Like that. I like that a lot. That is deep. Yeah, now they're going with the Protect knockoff / Flare Blitz play. You can Flare Blitz here. I get a second. Palmot comes back. Like, it's just great damage there. Knockoff. Cool, now I can use other moves. Awesome. So now I can just click Psychic and hit the Psyshock into that slot. Cool. Oh, yeah, I still have to click Helping Hand. Yep. Because you don't know how they're built. Yep. Helping Hand. Works for me. And they go Parting. And what's coming in? Ursh. Oh, it's already been shown. Alright, so you're going to remove that out. Protect, Pivot, Weezing. And you can protect here. Because you're turning off the Unseen Fist. And then you see how, like, this is one of the reasons we have, like, this Weezing on this team. Fake Out's totally fine there. Wicked Blow's totally fine there. Really ain't really a problem. Follow Me is going to stop, like, a big damage. And then, like we said, we think this is sashed. And so just breaking that sash is going to be really good. And then we just come in with Palmot, pin with the Fake Out, Revival Blessing our Weezing or our Clef, and we're just good to go. Nice. Nice. Big damage. There's that sash. Chunk the damage on the Incin. You can protect here. You are allowed to click Protect here. If you don't protect, like, bro, detect. Click Detect. Click detect. I'm trying to help you out here. If then you lose your Incin, you give me that +1 and done out here. I think I can actually eat the sucker, to be completely honest. I think I should just be clicking Revival Blessing. I think if I click Revival Blessing here, I automatically win. But it's about sending a message. Yep. Awesome. Sometimes you gotta show. You never know who you're gonna fight again, and you want to let them know that you're someone that's impulsive. And bolt in the back. Cool. We have a Palmot. And they haven't terrored yet. We're gonna save our Revival Blessing to get back. We're gonna save Revival Blessing to get back Shadow Rider. We won though. Thunderclap, not enough, buddy. Let's go. Oof. I mean, you can do this again if you want, but like we're fine. We can use other items. We can use other. I forgot. Yeah, we're not specs anymore. We got it knocked off. Probably should have side shocked last turn. That's fine. That we win. Cool. Okay, Giratina. Napoleon. Oh, Thundy. We know we outspeed Adamant Lando. And then Ursh. Volk. Now, the thing that I really like about this team is we outspeed everything. So, like, I really like the Tatsu here. I think Tatsu into the Genies is very good. I'm going to go Tatsu Kali. Because I'd like to be able to change some of their typings if possible. Tatsu Kali is good. I don't know if we need Wheezing. I think I will bring it. Maybe turn that off. Do I care about that? Should I just be leading Wheezing? Is that a better play? There's a more optimal way to do this without using the Tatsu. I shouldn't try and force it if it's not the right play. Shadow Rider is good. Shadow Rider Palmot is a solid lead against this. You pivot in Clef Wheezing. Alright. If you lead with Thundy, I just pivot. Yep, there's Thundy, and it's in the first slot. So it means they're building a strategy around it, and it's shot, and it's Urshi Dark. Okay. So in this situation, you just fake out Ursh and Astral. I think that's completely fine. You can even go fake out... Yeah, I don't really care if they want to Thunder Wave me. Like, just breaking Sash, getting some good chip. Yep. And then you can pivot in Wheezing, go normal Terra, turn off that Prankster, get the double KO. Nice. Yeah, dude, Shadow Rider busted, dude. Here we go. Show me that sucker. Oh, not gonna do it, buddy. Dump trucked. That's a +2. Perfect. Giratina. And Empoleon. Now, the cool thing about this is they can only Terra one of them. So one can go like normal or dark or something like that, but they both can't Terra. They can Vacuum Wave my Calyrex, I guess. But like, I don't really care. There's not that much speed control to be had here. Cali's like really big. And you can't Shadow Sneak my Cali here either. So like, I'm really starting to like the normal Terra Cali. It's actually functioning very well, letting us just kind of sit in front of Urshifu. I'm liking that a lot. Let us sit in front of Giratina, which is actually a bit of a weird matchup because they are used to having that Shadow Sneak to leverage the advantage versus Shadow Rider. So I'm digging it. There's the fairy. Cool. Yeah, they're still dead though. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. We take those all the way to the bank. Yo, easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Cool. So let's go back a few pages to what we were talking about at the start. Alright, test games. So, normal Terra. Normal Terra. Check. It was good. Did the Tatsu tech work? No, it did not work. It did not work. We didn't really get one matchup where it got to work. Maybe we can try and play another one. But that means that, like, there are just better options. And in the one game where we could have tested it, it was just smarter to lead Weezing and Taunt. So that means the whole Tatsu Dozo aspect of the team could be reworked. So that means that we have learned from this testing that Shadow Rider, Weezing, Pawmot, and Clef are good. So while we spent over an hour making this team and playing a bunch of games and running down things we like that's right, what we realized is, like, this is our new core. So at the end of a training session when you're prepping for something, you shouldn't actually be looking to 100% finish your team, good and go, all done. What you're trying to do is really lock in on developing your core. Because now we have a really good core that we can add something like, I don't know, this is just an idea here. You can add a Whimsicott and Terrakion. You could add a Chiyu and a Flutter. You can add an actual Dozo Tatsu that has options for that. But in reality, we were punishing people for over-respecting Dozo Tatsu in a lot of those games. That's why we got the wins that we got. That's why we forced the Ensign on the leads in other situations. But that being said, it's more so just about understanding and developing the tools you need to win, and then taking. So what we would do if we were to do this tomorrow, if we were to continue with this, we would say, all right, our core is Shadow Rider, Weezing, Pawmot, Clef. What mons can we add to solidify some of these bad matchups? And we start adding mons and start the whole process over from scratch. So hopefully you guys liked this little experience.